Hello class, today we're looking at 7-1, three-dimensional figures on page 252. We are going to classify and draw three-dimensional figures. Some new vocabulary: three-dimensional figures, face, edge, base, prism, height, cube, cylinder, pyramid, vertex, cones, sphere, and center. So you already know about some three-dimensional figures. You see them in many ordinary objects around you. If you know how to classify three-dimensional figures, you can describe the shapes of the objects you see. A three-dimensional figure or solid is a figure that does not lie in a plane, so they're not flat. A flat surface of a solid shape like a polygon is called a face. Each segment formed by the intersection of the two faces is an edge. So looking at this figure, the base, it has two bases, one on the top, one on the bottom. The height is the distance between the bottom base and the top base. A face is each one of the sides. So this face is made up of a rectangle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces around the outside. The edge is the actual line that connects the two faces. A prism, let's go like this. Okay, a prism is a three-dimensional figure with two parallel and congruent polygon faces called bases. The other faces are rectangles. The height of a prism is the length of a perpendicular segment that joins the bases. A prism is named for the shape of its bases. A cube, and this is the cube over here, is a rectangular prism with faces that are all squares. A cylinder has two congruent parallel bases that are circles. The height of a cylinder is the length of a perpendicular segment that joins the bases. Can you think of something that is a cylinder shape? I think of a can of soup or a can of beans and maybe a soda. A pyramid has triangular faces that meet at one point, a vertex. We've heard that word vertex before. And a base that is a polygon. A pyramid is named for the shape of its base. A cone has one circular base and one vertex. A sphere is the set of all points in space that are the same distance from a center. So here's the center. All of these points are the same distance from the center. Okay, so architecture. Look at the architectural blocks. Name figure 3. So here's figure 3. It has two parallel congruent bases that are circles. So therefore figure 3 is a cylinder. Now it wants you to name figure 1 and figure 2. So figure 1 has the shape of a triangle and it's three-dimensional, so it is a triangular prism. The second one is shaped with a circular base and has a vertex. Therefore, it is a cone. Kind of like a ice cream cone that you would put a snow cone in, right? That opposite way could help you remember that shape. Okay, so you can use graph paper to draw three-dimensional figures. Let's move this up. So draw a hexagonal prism. First you draw a hexagon, draw a second hexagon, and then connect them with all of their sides. So then it wants you to, oops, wrong thing, use graph paper to draw a triangular prism. You may not have graph paper, so if you don't, no big deal. I'm going to show you without having graph paper how I could do it. You're going to draw a triangle on top, same triangle down below, connect all the sides. So, of course, if you had graph paper, it would come out a little bit more clearly. And if you do, that is great. I'll go ahead and get you started on page 254. A blank has a circular base and one vertex. What is that? It's a cone. Which three-dimensional figure does not have a base? So a cone, we know, has a base. A prism also has a base. A pyramid would be like a triangular pyramid. Also has a base. But then there is a sphere. This is what a sphere looks like. It's basically like a soccer ball or a softball. So a sphere does not have a base. So now describe each base and name each prism. So what it's asking you to do is first tell me what this shape is, any of these shapes. That looks like a rectangle. Therefore, it's a rectangular prism. Rectangular prism. So it's asking you to put both of them, rectangle and then rectangular prism. Okay, so go ahead and do numbers 4 through 23 on your own. The second page is going to have you, it's going to name each line. So for example, this might be figure A down to B, C, D, E, and F. And so it might say what lines connect with line AB. So line AB are connected with AD, BC, BF, AD. All of those lines, these lines, are connected to line AB. And when you write a line like that, you'll do it where it just is a line over the top of it, and then the two letters below, line AD. Okay, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Have a good day. Oh.